Welcome back to Make Your Belly Happy Barbecue. Today up on the mountain we're going to make some pizza on the Weber kettle. I've got some pizza dough from Kroger's, some pizza sauce, and mozzarella cheese that I smoked about 4 weeks ago. Hopefully there's nothing green on it, so it's looking pretty good. Smells really good. So I think our bellies are going to be really happy today. All right, so to make this pizza, the kettle's out there heating up. I've got some Kroger's pizza crust. I've made my own with yeast and everything, but you can't beat Kroger's or any of the other pizza crust mixes. Add half a cup of hot water to each one of these. Let it rise for about 5-10 minutes. You got a good thing. Just regular pizza sauce. I'm in the process right now of smoking some Italian sausage that I'm going to slice real thin and stick it out there with the pizza. The cheese, I haven't had to try it yet, because once you smoke it, you let it sit for a couple weeks. So this is past the couple weeks, so we're going to slice this mozzarella up, fresh mozzarella, and see how it goes. So first thing we need to do is let's get this dough ready. All right, so we're going to take the mix, dump it in our bowl here, and add, for each package, you add a half a cup of hot water. So I've got 2 packages, and I got a cup of hot water. You don't want it scalding hot, like boiling, but you want it past warm. You want it pretty hot. So we're gonna mix that up, get you a fork, mix this up pretty good. You don't want to over mix it though, because then as your yeast is releasing, you don't want it to completely release either. So I like to, once I get it pretty mixed up pretty good, then I like to take my hand and just kind of waller it around in there. You know, don't be afraid to get a little bit sticky, because you can always add a little bit of flour if it's too sticky. If I could get an assistant to hand me a little bit of flour, I didn't know I was going to need it. All right. So if it gets a little sticky, you can just add a little bit of flour if you put a little bit too much water in it maybe. And you want it to be able to just kind of start forming a ball where it's not sticking to your hands or sticking to the bowl. So it's still a little sticky because it's kind of still sticking to my hands. So I'm going to add a little more flour. And I'm just going to keep rolling it around. But you don't want to keep kneading it so much as just kind of roll around so the outside of it is not sticking to your gloves. It'll just kind of start forming a ball where it's not sticking to your hands or sticking to the bowl. So it's still a little sticky because it's kind of still sticking to my hands. So I'm going to add a little more flour. And I'm just going to keep rolling it around. But you don't want to keep kneading it so much as just kind of roll around so the outside of it. All right. Now, so that this rises, you're going to take about a tablespoon of olive oil, and you're just going to kind of just coat it, enough to coat it so that it doesn't stick to the bowl as it rises. And then you're going to cover that, and you're going to wait about 5 to 10 minutes. Set it in a nice warm place over there on top of the stove. If you got anything in the oven, or even just right here on the counter, will be fine as long as it's nice, kind of warm. You don't want it cool, because it won't rise if it's cool. All right, while the pizza dough is rising, I'd like to give a shout out to Terry and Stephanie over at 270 Smokers, because I got for my birthday, this is a jig for cutting just perfect slices. So I'm going to use it to cut my cheese up for right now. And you got this little board that slides, got a little notch, and then it slides on these notches here and gives you perfect uniform cuts. So my main goal is to use this for when I'm cutting my money muscles, but you know, you can use it to cut anything, and I'm going to cut perfect slices of mozzarella cheese, but it's got different notches here for different measurements. So that's probably about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch, and on the back is an inch and a free slide that kind of just do that. So I've got this set up to cut 1/4 inch slices, because we don't want our cheese any thicker than that. So let's start here. Got our slicing knife. This thing's designed, we're going to make an initial cut to get a flat surface, and then by drawing our knife back through it, and then we move our tray up 1 notch. Very good slice. Holding the cheese, we're going to move our tray up 1 notch. Alright, I'll finish slicing these up and then the dough should be about ready. Alright, so we got this dough ready, and I've got it kind of flattened out the way I want it. Now, to keep it from sticking to the pizza peel, we use a little bit of cornmeal, and what that does, that allows that pizza to slide off of the pizza peel onto the stone out on the kettle. So I'm going to add some sauce. Spread that around nice all the way out to your edges. Once you get your sauce all spread out nice and neat, I'm going to add my mozzarella cheese. Add my cheese, spread it out over top of the sauce. And then I'm going to add some smoked Italian sausage. I just got finished smoking this out on the grill. Just spread it around. And there we go. And there's a pizza ready to go on the Cabber. There's a pizza ready to go on the Weber. Alright, I got my kettle attachment. My puppies, they're here hoping something falls on the floor. Bronson, come here and say hi to everybody. Bronson loves making videos because his belly's always happy when Dad cooks. Ain't that right, Spot? You need a haircut. Alright, so I got the kettle set up. I got a stone in there. The stone's running about 400 degrees. Now I'm going to slide my pizza in there and get her cooking so our bellies can be happy. Alright, this is one of the pizzas that we did today. This one's a sausage, Italian sausage and mozzarella cheese. This is the first pizza I did, and as you can see, it didn't really come out so hot. It I made the crust too thin, and therefore it just kind of disintegrated on the kettle. So the key there is to make your crust a little bit thicker. Even if you like a thin crust, it doesn't do well. I got mine way too thin is what happened. So ended up having to scrape it off, and it tastes good. I mean, it'll still make your belly happy, but it doesn't look so hot. Well, I hope you liked the pizza video. I just wanted to explain a couple things that went on in the pizza video. I started out by slicing that smoked cheese that I smoked a few weeks ago. Well, I didn't end up using it because it didn't really taste that good. It kind of got a little bit too much smoke in it or something. But my buddy Scott hooked me up with a smoke tube, so I'm going to try again, and maybe I'll be able to do a little bit better with the smoked cheese. So we ended up with shredded mozzarella, but as you can see, the pizza turned out pretty good. The smoked Italian sausage and the the regular shredded mozzarella really complemented the pizza. The first pizza I slid out there on the stone, so you don't really I made one pizza and I put it out there, and then I come up with one that looks completely different. That's because the first one kind of disintegrated. I had my dough way too thin. Lessons learned. And I made these before, but I guess I got this dough a little bit too thin, and when I slid it off the peel, it just kind of ripped. The dough ripped, and the sauce was all over the stone, and it just kind of made a big old mess. So you know, you have your successes and your failures, so don't let a failure stop you. I mean, you can still eat the failure. They taste okay, but they just don't look so good. So keep on out there making your bellies happy. Leave any questions or comments you want in the down below in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. I'm going to keep making bellies happy, and keep on smoking.